My palms sweat. Once, to save an entire civilization, I had to shift their planet back to its natural orbit. It took all my strength to move 4.824 times 10 to the power of 24 kilograms, just 13 meters. It was the only other time I perspired. Then, to save 5 billion lives. And now, as I return to the nation of Lubania. The last time I was in Lubania, it was under Soviet domination, a satellite state run by an authoritarian regime. No civil liberties, no progress, just oppression. It was frozen in time between the end of the Second World War and the present. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, Lubania has transformed from a communist state into a modern financial powerhouse. Banking, investments, commodity markets. Lubania is the envy of former Eastern Bloc nations, the envy of most European nations, and Lubania has the opulence and beau monde to go with all that money. So I came to write a dispassionate interview with one of its wealthiest entrepreneurs. Taxi? Anyway, that's what I told people. The truth is, call it what it is. The truth is, I'm putting myself through therapy. The last time I was in Lubania, the only time I was in Lubania, I was Superman. I really thought I was a Superman, that nothing could affect me. Not forces of nature, not the laws of nations. When I saw an emergency, never mind that I had no authority to enter Lubania, I was going to do what was right. I didn't care about cold wars or international borders. Why should I? I'm Superman. Yeah, right. If you're so super, Clark, prove it. Go there. Stand there one more time before you interview him. Driver, can we make a stop? The Kolebnik Re-Education Facility. That's what it was officially called. The rough translation of its Lubanian name was the Prison of No Escape, a death camp. The regime's scientists had found a way to synthesize and disseminate low-grade kryptonite radiation. Before I could fly out of the country, they used it on me. Not enough to kill me, just to mute all my powers. I tried to disguise myself and escape the country on foot. I barely made it 5 miles. When they caught up to me, I was no match for the bloodhounds and armed officers of the Chevernas, the Lubanian secret police. I was brought to the camp and thrown in with the dissidents, opposition leaders and activists. I was held for 8 months. 8 months of starvation, indoctrination, and forced labor. 8 months of being used as a propaganda tool to prove the weakness of the West. But I'm Superman, right? Superman's invulnerable. Superman can survive anything. That was the lie I told myself every night. But every day they would drag me into the interview room. Every day they would restrain me in a way that left me exposed and vulnerable. Every day for 8 months, they did things to me. They did things to me while I was forced to look at him. Nikolai Kozlov, the commander of the Chevernas, the devil of Lubania. A man who single-handedly caused the deaths of thousands of people simply because no one cared enough to stop him. Eventually, with Batman's help, I escaped the camp. But in all these years, I've never been free of it. Or of Kozlov. It wasn't just the torture. Kozlov showed me what it was like to be truly without power. Helpless in a way Luthor or Brainiac never made me feel. Humiliated, shamed. So I've come back to Lubania to face the devil. All those months of interviewing me, this will be my interview. The years have been good to Kozlov. Having fallen out of favor with the ruling regime of Lubania, Kozlov spent time in his own torture camp. After the Iron Curtain fell, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission considered him punished enough for his crimes. Kozlov used his connections and reputation as one of the rehabilitated to start a business empire that grew with Albania's fortunes. As we sat for our interview, Kozlov had no idea with whom he was really speaking. Clark Kent was just another reporter who wanted to genuflect at his altar of wealth. Kozlov opined on everything from the scalability of global economics to the capitalization of cheap human labor in emerging nations. Eventually, I got to my only real point of interest. Did he have any remorse for all the thousands who died at his camp? Did he care? I don't know how I expected Kozlov to respond. My hope was that despite his facade, he would be forever haunted by guilt for the lives he stole. My secret desire was that he'd be openly unrepentant, giving me the excuse to do what I wanted to do every waking minute since I got out of the camp. In the end, Kozlov was neither reformed nor remorseless. He dismissed my questions, saying that many people had made mistakes during the Cold War years. The West had won, and all any of us could do now was move on. It's easy to move on when you're the victimizer and not the victim. When my interview ended, Kozlov was collected by his driver and taken to another interview, or meeting, or maybe just off to the bank to count his money. All my powers, and I couldn't do anything except just let him go. Well, that wasn't all I could do. I could write a high-profile expose on how Kozlov was exploiting workers around the world, building wealth on their backs. I could write that story, but same as everywhere. The city was full of people who lived well because of others who were exploited. Kozlov thrived in the past because few people cared to stand against him. Ironically, his only crime now is capitalism. Would anyone care how he made his money? Does anyone ever care enough? Yeah, I care. No matter the consequences, I will always care.